A 5-year-old Menace helped drag in over $100 million at the box office, while the man playing his grumpy neighbor was quietly losing a fortune at the racetrack every year. Welcome back to Golden Era Stars. 33 years later, here's where they all are now.
Walter Matthau played George Wilson, the perpetually irritated next-door neighbor, who spent his own free evenings losing fortunes at the racetrack instead of guarding a prized coin collection. He was 71 when he stepped into the cardigan and permanent scowl, already one of Hollywood's most beloved curmudgeons after decades of leading roles. During World War II, he'd served as a radio gunner on a B-24 Liberator bomber in the same Army Air Forces unit as actor James Stewart, flying missions over Europe long before he ever set foot on a soundstage.
Matthau died at 79 on July 1, 2000, of a heart attack in Santa Monica. Born Walter Jake Matthau on New York's Lower East Side to a Russian Jewish father and a Lithuanian immigrant mother. He worked almost until the end, reuniting with his longtime friend Jack Lemmon for Grumpy Old Men and The Odd Couple 2 in his final years. Off-camera, his gambling was legendary. Friends estimated he lost $50 million over his lifetime, betting on horses and ball games, money he seemed almost cheerfully unbothered by losing. On screen, George Wilson guarded his gold coins like a miser. In real life, Matthau just as happily let his own fortune go.
Mason Gamble played Dennis Mitchell, the accident-prone 5-year-old at the center of it all, who was chosen from a reported 20,000 children who auditioned for the role. He was 6 years old during filming, already a screen veteran thanks to a small part in Groundhog Day the same year. Writer-producer John Hughes reportedly wanted a genuinely mischievous, unpolished kid rather than a slick child performer, and found exactly that in Gamble.
Today, at 40, Gamble hasn't acted since 2010, having traded Hollywood for science. He studied marine biology at UCLA before pursuing a doctorate in environmental science and engineering there. After Dennis, he took supporting roles in Rushmore and Arlington Road before quietly stepping away from acting in his mid-20s. He married Sarah Gamble in 2017, and the couple welcomed their first child in 2019. Where Dennis Mitchell spent the film causing chaos with a slingshot, Mason Gamble now spends his days studying how to protect the planet's oceans.
Joan Plowright played Martha Wilson, George's gentle, exasperated wife, who was in real life the widow of Sir Laurence Olivier, widely regarded as the greatest English-speaking actor of the 20th century. She was 62 when she took the role, reportedly accepting the part as a treat for her grandchildren. By then, she had already won 2 Golden Globes in a single year, a feat only a handful of actresses have ever matched.
Plowright died at 95 on January 16, 2025, at Denville Hall in London, surrounded by her family, having been born Joan Ann Plowright in Lincolnshire, England. After Olivier's death in 1989, she built an entirely second career on screen, later charming audiences in Tea with Mussolini and earning an Oscar nomination for Enchanted April. Macular degeneration eventually left her legally blind, forcing her retirement from acting in 2014. She and Olivier raised 3 children together during their 28-year marriage. On screen, Martha Wilson quietly managed a chaotic household. Off-screen, Plowright had spent decades managing a life alongside one of theater's largest personalities.
Christopher Lloyd played Switchblade Sam, the film's lone, genuine menace, who had built most of his career playing lovable eccentrics rather than criminals, from Doc Brown to Uncle Fester. He was 53 during filming, fresh off winning an Emmy for a guest role on the Canadian drama Road to Avonlea. Unlike his other famous characters, Sam was written as legitimately frightening, only turning to slapstick once Dennis got the better of him.
Today, at 87, Lloyd is still working, recently voicing a villain on the PBS series Cyberchase and appearing in Wednesday. Born Christopher Allen Lloyd, he has been married 5 times. His current wife, former real estate agent Lisa Loyacono, is 3 decades younger and originally sold him the Montecito home he shared with his previous wife. That same house later burned down in a 2008 wildfire, and Lloyd rebuilt it before eventually selling it to Loyacono. Switchblade Sam never got his hands on George Wilson's gold. More than 6 decades into his career, Christopher Lloyd is still very much cashing in.
Lea Thompson played Alice Mitchell, Dennis's frazzled mother, who had once left her real-life fiancé for the director of the very film that would go on to define her career. She was 31 during filming, already known to audiences worldwide as Marty McFly's mother in the Back to the Future trilogy. She took the role during a quieter stretch of family-friendly work between raising her own young children.
Today, at 65, Thompson has shifted largely behind the camera, directing episodes of Young Sheldon and Stargirl in recent years. Born Lea Catherine Thompson, she left actor Dennis Quaid in 1987 for director Howard Deutsch, whom she married in 1989. Their daughter Zoe Deutsch went on to become a movie star in her own right. Thompson still occasionally acts, appearing more recently in the series The Spencer Sisters. On screen, Alice Mitchell spent the film chasing after someone else's unruly child. In real life, Thompson was quietly raising a daughter who would one day chase down Hollywood fame of her own.
Robert Stanton played Henry Mitchell, Dennis's overwhelmed father, who was at the time still primarily a stage actor, building his name in regional theater. He was 29 during filming, having just wrapped small parts in A League of Their Own and Bob Roberts that same year. Dennis the Menace marked his first major supporting role on the big screen.
Today, at 63, Stanton works steadily across film, television, and Broadway, having appeared across every branch of the Law & Order franchise as well as Orange is the New Black. Born Robert Lloyd Stanton in San Antonio, he trained at NYU's Tisch School of the Arts before building a respected stage career, including a run in Tom Stoppard's The Coast of Utopia. He continues balancing screen work with theater, appearing more recently in the series Mr. Mercedes. Where Henry Mitchell could barely control one small boy on screen, Stanton has spent 3 decades commanding stages far bigger than the Mitchells' front yard.
Paul Winfield played the town's chief of police, a small role for an actor who, 2 decades earlier, had become only the 3rd black actor ever nominated for the Best Actor Oscar. He was 53 during filming, already a veteran of Star Trek II: The Wrath of Khan and The Terminator. He took the part the same year he appeared in the blockbuster thriller Cliffhanger.
Winfield died at 64 of a heart attack on March 7, 2004 in Los Angeles, having spent his final working years narrating the true crime series City Confidential. Born Paul Edward Winfield, he'd earned his Oscar nomination for 1972's Sounder and later won an Emmy for a guest role on Picket Fences. He shared his life with architect Charles Gillen Jr. for 30 years, until Gillen's death from bone cancer in 2002. The two are buried together at Forest Lawn. Winfield's police chief spent the film keeping Dennis's small-town chaos in check, while off-screen, the actor had spent his career quietly breaking ground few before him had reached.
Natasha Lyonne played Polly, one of Dennis's put-upon teenage babysitters, and had already been acting for 7 years by that point, having played a recurring character on Pee-wee's Playhouse at just 7 years old. She was 13 during filming, years before the indie roles that would eventually define her. The part came during a quiet stretch between her earliest work and her teenage breakthrough in a Woody Allen film. Today, at 47, Lyonne is one of television's most in-demand stars, having earned multiple Emmy nominations for Russian Doll and Poker Face. Born Natasha Bianca Lyonne Bronstein, she battled serious drug addiction in her 20s before getting sober in 2006 and rebuilding her career as an actress, writer, and director. In 2023, Time named her one of the world's most influential people. Polly spent the film being outsmarted by a 5-year-old. Lyonne has spent the decade since outsmarting an industry that had largely written her off.
Devin Ratray played Mickey, Polly's teenage boyfriend, who had already tormented Macaulay Culkin on screen twice as Buzz McAllister in the Home Alone films. He was 15 during filming, cast the same year Home Alone 2 hit theaters. The role leaned on the same smug older kid energy that had already made him a familiar face to family film audiences.
Today, at 49,
Rattray's acting career has effectively stalled following a December 2021 arrest on domestic assault charges after an incident with his then-girlfriend in Oklahoma, a case that dragged through the courts for years and included a hospitalization. Born in New York City, he had reprised his Home Alone role as recently as 2021's Home Sweet Home Alone before the arrest, and hasn't appeared on screen since 2022. Buzz McAllister was fiction's favorite bully. The years since Dennis the Menace have been far less kind to the man who played him.
Dennis the Menace hit theaters on June 25, 1993, grossing over $117 million on a $35 million budget, despite lukewarm reviews from critics. Of the 11 actors featured here, 3, Walter Matthau, Joan Plowright, and Paul Winfield, have since passed away, while the rest have scattered into acting, academia, and quiet private lives. The kid who couldn't sit still for 5 minutes grew up to spend a decade studying the ocean floor, and the man who lost $50 million gambling never once seemed to mind. 33 years later, the Menace has grown up, the gold coins are long forgotten, and Golden Era Stars is glad we could bring you the whole story.